All right, Gulf Coast Independent Wrestling fans, as our producer Alexander Page has just finished performing oral surgery, sewing up the side of my jibs where I about cut it in half, chewing on one of these crappy-ass fucking Ricola cough drop throat loss and just pissed me off or ruining my buzz. We're going to finish with our review of New Heights Wrestling's Battle of the Gulf Coast. Took place at Defuniak Springs, Florida, February 13th, 2010 at the Armory. Go ahead, brother internet.
All right, our next match was an I Quit match, and it pitted the NHW Cruiserweight Champion Doug Pitt against Milo with Busty Becky Kennedy.
Woo! Bustalicious.
And this match, the only way to win was to make your opponent say, I quit. And this sort of turned into a hardcore match. They were going at each other pretty good. I saw at one point Doug Pitt pulled a hook out and fish hooked him in the mouth.
That was cool as hell. Now I was digging on that.
And at the beginning of the match, Doug Pitt got a hold of Busty Becky, tied her up in a corner, and so she was pretty much incapacitated for most of the match. And in the end, you know, Milo started getting the advantage on Doug Pitt, but Doug Pitt picked up Busty Becky, turned her upside down, threatened to look like pile driver, and Milo quit just to save Busty Becky Kennedy.
Shocking surprise there, man. But I must say, when Becky was hooked up to the ring post there was some good view of that butt action on them white shorts now. That's right. I'm a nasty old pervert, and I'm going to say, Becky, I liked your butt in them white shorts, okay? Yeah, so sue me. I'm a guy. You know. Good match. It was awesome. Hey, quit looking at him like that. He's a man. You can look at the menu as long as you don't eat off the table. That's the way that shit goes. Okay. Anyway, you know, awesome match. These two guys, two of the Gulf Coast young stars. Doug Pitt awesomely improving the more he travels to other promotions working. Milo
always puts on a good match.
One of the best cruiserweights in our area. It was awesome. They took it in and out of the ring, pillar to post, all over. Pie pans, chairs, chains, the fish hook. That was cool. I mean, you name it. Those guys laid it out. That was an awesome match. And in the end, with Doug Pitt, you know, threatening to pile drive Busty Becky, Milo quit and lost his chance at the Cruiserweight title, which I think now, if I'm not mistaken, I could be because I haven't been to New Heights. It was my first show there in Defuniak. I haven't been to New Heights in a while. I think that Doug Pitt might have broken Milo's record for consecutive months holding that Cruiserweight title. Now, I'm not sure.
We'll have to check on that.
Yeah, it's possible, but, you know, awesome match. 2 thumbs up. Those guys worked their ass off in the ring for the fans in that match.
And 2 things I wanted to point on. I've thus far seen Doug Pitt in any kind of real hardcore match. He's more of a technical guy in my book, but he proved his worth in this match. He can go hardcore if he needs to. And the second thing is, it seems like no matter where Busty Becky Kennedy is at, she sort of becomes a hindrance to whoever she's representing. Case in point is
Initial Shock
in CSW, and now Milo here in New Heights Wrestling.
And also, it was the first time that I've seen Doug in his British gimmick there,
right,
that he was using at New Heights, you know, to help him get over as the heel there. And, but nonetheless, awesome match. I dug it. The fans were definitely into it and entertained by that match.
Okay, our next matchup was the finals of the Battle of the Gulf Coast tournament, and it pitted, you know it, BTY Colby Godwin against that guy, Chris Ty. And like I said, both these guys, well, Chris Ty had 2 previous matches. BTY had 1.
Right.
And so Chris Ty, I would have to say, was at a distinct disadvantage in this match. You know, of course, wrestling one more match than Colby. But in the end, it was that guy, Chris Ty, that won, and he became the winner of the Battle of the Gulf Coast tournament.
I don't necessarily think he was at the disadvantage there because Colby took that nasty fall
right, that compensated
over the ropes,
for it.
and that kind of evened it out there. But these two guys are no strangers to each other. I've seen them battle all over the Gulf Coast in various promotions, and they, like when Chris Ty wrestled Scotty Race earlier in the evening, have a familiarity with each other, which helps breed good matches in the ring. You know, they laid it out there on the match, in the middle of the ring for the fans, and both of them, you could tell, really wanted to win that Battle of the Gulf Coast. BTY wanted to be the first repeat winner, and Chris Ty, who's came so close before but not quite able to get over that hump and win the battle, finally got the job done and won his initial Battle of the Gulf Coast title this past Saturday.
Now, after the match, BTY came over and shook his hand, congratulated him. The rest of the locker room came out, celebrating in the ring, and out of nowhere, BTY hits Chris Ty with the Ace Crusher right in the middle of the ring.
I dug that, I mean, Chris Ty, and I like him, don't get me wrong, but, Kobe shook his hand like a man and like a competitor would, congratulated him on the victory, but Chris Ty wasn't satisfied. He wanted him to do that guy thing, and the clappy, and Kobe obliged, despite his better judgment. And just to show that he still had that little bit of streak in him, he turned around and bam!
Gave him a receipt.
That's right. Here's your receipt, bitch, for the clappy and the that guy stuff. And, what can you say? That was the end of the show. Chris Ty is your Battle of the Gulf Coast winner for this year.
Absolutely. And our congratulations do go out to him. What we're going to do right now, take a real short break. We'll come back with Match of the Night and rating of the show.